Could be low.
So we've gotten better if it's to low.
Okay.
Dead to low. On this side of the
Okay, I guess I'll turn that on. We are still in this book that many of you, some of you brought and many of you didn't. So what I'm gonna do this morning is, I'm gonna play the videos of the first two sessions, kinda to get us up to speed where we are. If anybody knows the answer to this, I would appreciate it. There were in here about 5 or 6 books that were not taken by anybody. And they're just,
Now, they've been taken by somebody.
well, yeah, okay, taken by somebody who's not presently here. Okay. So let me go ahead and play the first 2 videos, and then we'll start on session 3.
The people cried for deliverance, and God had answered them. Time after time, deliverance had come in miraculous ways. Through a left-handed assassin, from a coward hiding in a winepress, with the jawbone of a donkey. These were the judges, the ones upon whom the Spirit of God rested for a time, for a specific purpose and for the deliverance of God's people. These were the people like Gideon, Deborah, and Samson, the heroes of the day whom God used to bring about deliverance, and yet there was no lasting change in the heart of those people. The people cried, and God answered, yet the people still drifted from him. God was faithful in their wandering to rescue them from their oppressors, but with each deliverance the people seemed to drift further away. And now they cried for something else. They cried not for deliverance, they wanted a king, like all the other nations of the earth. What sounded like a reasonable request was a wicked one in disguise. That's because the people already had a king. True enough, he was not like the kings of the other nations, but that was intentional on the part of God. In choosing this people for himself, God intended that they be separate from the other nations of the earth, a holy people, dedicated to him and representing him as his ambassadors in the world. They would be a people with God as their king, but they did not want him. They wanted a king of flesh and blood, who could sit on a throne and lead them into battle. But not only that, they also wanted something deeper, something they believed an earthly king could provide. They wanted safety. They wanted security. They wanted prosperity. They wanted all these things God himself as their king promised to provide them, if only they would trust him to do so. God knew their hearts. He knew that this was not just a request from someone to lead the nation. It was a rejection of him, and him alone as the true king. And as he often does, God gave them what they thought they wanted. He pointed them to a man named Saul who, by any earthly standard, certainly looked the part of a king. He gave them their king, knowing all the while that this king would, like the people he represented, eventually fail to trust and obey God fully. And so it was with Saul. The people's longings would not be satisfied. Their deepest needs would remain unmet as they had willingly subjugated themselves to the wrong ruler. So it was then, and so it is now. We are